talk. So I want to take a moment to say welcome, everyone. We may have some others joining us as we go through the day. My name is Tamara Hegan. I'm a project manager and business analyst at Spot Solutions, and I work on a lot of these webinars. I'm going to just be here for questions and some of that. We're going to have Jessica Lagos, one of our amazing Power Platform developers, take you into this really interesting topic today, introduction to artificial intelligence in the workplace. How can we use AI to enhance our own businesses? With us as well is John Iwanis. John, do you want to introduce yourself before we hand it over to Jessica?
For sure. Thanks, Tamara. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I appreciate you taking the time. My name is John Iwanis. I am the Director of Sales at Spot Solutions. I've been with the company for over 6 years now, so quite exciting to be part of these webinars. Obviously, from a sales perspective, that's kind of where I sit from my role at Spot Solutions. So if you have some questions after, you like to talk about this in a little more depth, I'll be the guy you'll be connecting with. So thanks for introducing me.
Absolutely. So we are going to have Jessica presenting today. If you do have questions, I am allowing your mics. You're all muted, but you can unmute to ask a question, or please feel free to put your question in the Q&A, and John and myself will be monitoring that. Over to you, Jessica.
Thank you. Can you hear me well? Just
Yes.
checking the microphone here. Okay. Yeah, so you already say my name and what I do, but I'm just gonna re-say it. Jessica Lagos here from Spot Solution. I've been working as a functional analyst or developer, kind of mixing here. And I've been working with SharePoint and Power Platform, actually Power Platform and SharePoint for more than probably 12 years already. So, and today, as Tamara mentioned, I will be introducing to the AI word today. We're just starting with the topic, so we're gonna demo a lot and talk less. But if you do have any questions during the meeting, just raise your hand or as Tamara say, post the question in the chat, and we will answer those questions for you. So I will start by sharing my screen. I'm guessing I'm gonna share the right one this time. Let me know. Can you see this Spot screen right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm gonna just turn off the video because sometimes it can make things a little bit slower, but I will be here. Okay, so hello everyone again, and welcome to the new ones that just joined a couple seconds ago. Okay, so as I said, today's webinar will be about introduction to AI Builder. What is AI Builder? So basically, it's a Power Platform solution that brings us the power of the AI in a low-code manner. So basically, Microsoft is telling you anyone with not like coding skills can do it. And I will show you in a bit, like we're gonna train a couple models and you can see how you can use it in your day work. And it's also available for you to use. So as long as you have we're gonna talk about, or maybe you have question about licenses, but right now it's all not free. So you have to have your license, but it's ready. Once you have the license, it's ready for you to use, and you can use it in tools like Power Automate, or you can integrate it with Power Up. So right now, as you can see, I am in the portal here, and it can be as a Power Automate portal, or it can be a Power Up. You will have the same option to find the AI model in the left hand navigation. There is a tab here where I can go and click AI model. I will do it just in one place, but I will show you here that you can find it in either Power Up or Power Automate. Let's wait a little bit to load. Okay. So Microsoft is changing the screen pretty much every 5 minutes. So it used to be a little bit different. So if you're like watching videos and they say it doesn't look the same, it's because they change the look and feel, but you always have the options to add a new model. And here I already have two that I trained before to test this training. Just in case we don't have time, I can show you how this, like the end of it, but I will try to do my best to complete both of the models. So the model we're going to be training today is going to be focused on only one model. That is going to be the document processing model. And what is the document processing? Basically, let me go here first. As you can see, I have so many options here to try. And the one we're going to be focused on is document processing here. And you can see here, extract custom information from document is the model that we're going to be training. So if I click here, it's telling me that I can use this for extract information from a specific document. And you're going to see right now, if I click, for example, create a model, this is just a sample where it's showing you what kind of information you can extract or you can train. In this case, it's an invoice where you can extract, for example, the name of the customer, the address, the date, the phone, all the information that is in a document, you can extract it. And then you can create either a Power Automate, Power App to play with that information if you need. There is two options, and I will go ahead with create a custom model. It's gonna load, but basically you have two options to train structured documents or semi-structured documents, or you can train unstructured documents. What is the difference between one and the other? So structured documents is basically is when you have fields automatically set up, tables, checkboxes, and other items you may have like the similar layout. So basically, taking the sample of invoices. Invoices, we always have the amount, the date, and everything always in the same place. So in your layout or your template, you know where to find the customer number or the date or the total. It will be always in the same place, right? That's basically what Microsoft called structured document, when the template is basically the same information, the information that you want to extract is in the same position in the document. The unstructured, and you can see here you have three options, and they add, is in preview, the invoices option. Even we are doing invoice today, but I'm not going to use the invoices because it's in preview. And basically, it's going to force me to use a couple columns that we are not going to be using. So I'm going to just work today with the structured documents model. But what is a structured document? For example, documents that are usually with a paragraph. So you can have, for example, contracts or statement of works or letters when you don't know where exactly the information is going to be in the document, but you know you can find, for example, if it's a rental agreement, you know, in that document you will have the address of the rental place, right? The name of the owner and the amount that you're going to be paying. So this is the information you can train in an structured document to find it and then play with that data. Right now, the model that we're going to be working on is going to be structured. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one. And it's showing me like a couple samples, like how an structured document should supposed to look. And it should be something like this, a form with data, and the same information is positioning in the same spot all the time. So I will go ahead and click next. So right now, we are going to be working with two models. Because I think just adding an invoices, it may be a little bit confusing, but if I add another model with something that probably it might be useful for you if you're not from finance, you can understand properly when I train the model and what is the difference between one and the other, right? So in this case, I'm just gonna add the fields that I need to extract in my invoice. So I do have here in my computer, prepare, 1 second, AI here. I have two different type of invoices that I will be training. So you can see what is the difference between one of the other. It's like different companies. They have different um, layout or a different template, but the information, it is the same. So if I open one of them, it's a normal invoice where I can see the address, the date, the items that the total. So the information from this invoice that is from Contoso company, and the information from the other one, the invoice look a little bit different, but I do have the same information to extract. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create the model with the information that I want to extract. What I do want to extract from this is, let's go ahead to extract the invoice number. So I need a number field, number, use decimal, yes. So I create my first column. So I need to create a structure first before creating the model, because I need to tell the model. It's called train the model. So you need to tell them, okay, which information in the document you want to extract. Okay, I create my first one. I do want to extract the customer ID. Probably customer ID, I will create it as a text, but it can be numbered as well. And I will extract the customer name. I will create a text field for that. I will try to do a little bit faster this, because it will take a couple seconds or minutes. Over it. Oh, I think I refreshed by mistake. I'm sorry. Gonna do it again. I clicked the wrong. So customer, invoice number, customer ID, customer ID, and I will get the total amount. And amount is a number. And the last one will be the due date. So this is the information, and due date is a date field. So this is the information that I want to train. The format will be month, day, year. And then I will click next. Okay, now I have to create my collection. So the collection is like the template that you have, the template that you're gonna train for this model. In this case, I'm gonna create a collection that is gonna be one for the Contoso invoice, and I will create a second one for, how did I call it? Okay, I'm gonna start creating, I don't know why I didn't say the name. Okay, so in Contoso, it's gonna ask me for the documents. So I have to add documents at least, and I need to add 5 documents to train the model. You can add 20, 50, but at least the minimum is 5, okay? So I will go ahead and find my Contoso's invoices. I have 5 here ready to upload. And it's gonna take a couple seconds to load. It can be right now, I do have it in my computer, but you also see that I have the options to upload it from SharePoint. So if your documents are in SharePoint, you don't need to download it. You can just connect it from here. But right now I do have it in my device, so I'm just gonna add it. 5. It doesn't mean if you have 10, you wanna train the whole 10 to get more accuracy. You can add 10, but as I mentioned, 5 is the minimum. Okay, I create my 2 collections of different invoices. They are all invoices, but in a different format, right? So now I want to click next because I'm already done with my collection. And now you can see I have to tell the model, train the model for where the information is located. Okay, so I have all my 5 documents in the collection, and one by one, I need to go and train them. So I'm gonna select the first one, and I have the customer ID, the invoice number, the total amount, and the due date as a field, and now I have to tag it. Okay, so I'm gonna get the invoice number, right? So as I selecting here, it will show me here, okay, which field is this one. Okay, this one is the invoice number. I always getting I have to select it first, and it has to be like in a perfect square. You can select it. Here is where you're gonna find all the time it can be the whole thing, the customer name. And then I do have customer ID that I have in here. I have to select it and customer ID, and then the total amount will be this. That will be the total amount, and then the due date. Due date. So now I select all the fields. I tag it all of them, but I have to do the same for every single document that I have in my collection. So I'm gonna go here a little bit faster. Invoice number, total amount, due date. I'm saying faster, but I'm not that fast. Customer ID, customer name, and the total amount. That's why it's taking a lot of time to train the model, because you have to do it for every single, and as long as you need to extract a lot of information in the document, it's going to take some time. That's why I create only like 4 or 5 information to extract, but you can actually extract every single thing that is in the model and the document, sorry. Even I do have a table here. I know, but you can also create a table instead of columns, or columns and tables, and you can train that to recognize each one of the items in the table. If you're wondering that, invoice number, date, company name, customer, and customer ID, and the total. Okay, almost done. Date. It doesn't need to be in order. As you can see, I'm just selecting and I'm tagging customer, customer ID, and total. And last one, same, at least 5 documents that I have to train. Customer, sorry, invoice number. If I make a mistake, I can just undo. Invoice number, invoice number. To date, customer ID, and total. Okay, I have trained this collection, but remember I create 2 collections, so I'm just gonna go back and select the next one. As long as you are extracting the same information, you can add as many collection as you need. In this case, because I have two different type of invoices, let's say you receive different invoices from different companies, it might look different, but the information that you want to extract is basically the same. You will always have the amount, the date, the customer name, and in this case, what we don't have in this invoice, as you can see, is the customer ID. It's not there. So what we can do if this information is not in the document, I will show you. So invoice number is this one. Due date, I'm guessing. Due date. The company name, customer, sorry, and customer ID. I don't have the customer ID, and I have the total amount. Okay, so the customer ID is not in this document. So I have an option here to say this is not available in this document or in this collection. Okay, I know the whole templates are the same and it's not available in any of the documents. So I'm just gonna say in this collection, it's not available. So it's not gonna ask for it. Again, invoice number. And it's a little bit tedious, I know. You have to repeat it over and over and over, as many documents as you have. But once you have it ready, the time that you're going to be saving is a lot, because basically you have to just send the document by email, or you can post it in SharePoint, and then you can run workflows to check the amount. If it's bigger than 1,000, you go for an approval or something like this, instead of opening your documents and do everything manual. Total amount, total amount. Total amount, and due date. Due date. Okay, next. Number. Due date. And amount. What's the number? I can just train one model, but I just want to show you that, like, if you have different invoices, but the information is basically the same, you don't have to create a different model for that. You can use the same model, but create a different collection. Amount and due date. Okay, last one. Date. And customer name. You can see here I selected wrong because I'm getting also the address in here. So I'm just gonna, there you go. And now I have finished training my model. Okay, now I am ready. As you can see, I can just click here, and the accuracy you can see here for customer ID is less, because in one of the document we don't have it, but it's all good. We don't need to extract it if there is not there. And now we're gonna click just train, and it's gonna take a couple seconds to get ready. And I think it's ready. I'm gonna change the name because I'm gonna get confused from the ones that I have in the previous steps or previous trains. Once it's finished, the status is still training, so I'm not gonna do anything until it's ready, and then I will change the name. You can edit the model even if you already posted, or if it's already published, you can edit it and you will be republishing the changes. So don't worry if you made a mistake, or if you have one more collection to add, you can also edit and then publish the changes, and it will take the changes for you. Here is just weight, so nothing I can do about it. It's training the model. Basically, I have two collections, so it's a little bit heavy. Okay, it's trained, and now I can open it. I'm gonna click edit because I do want to change the name. Otherwise, I will click just publish, but I will click edit because I want to change the name. And by clicking edit, as I mentioned, you can add another collection. You can add more fields if you want, and then publish it again. Okay, I have the name here, so I'm just gonna go for document processing invoice demo. Name. This is all my change, so I'm not gonna go and do more because we don't have that much time. So I will click and publish. And you can see here, it's showing you that the level of accuracy for customer is 50%, and the other are kind of good. So basically, it means that when you run your, it can be a Power Automate, Power App, or everything, the accuracy for customer, it may be wrong at 50% of the time. Sometimes it happens when the document is not that clear, the information is too small, it can be a lot of things that it might cause losses. And now what I do want is to use my model, okay? And use the model, it will give you a couple options. You can build a Power Automate and you can build a Power App or another automation. In this case, because we don't have that much time, we're just gonna build a Power Automate from it. And it kind of gives me what kind of automate I wanna run through this model. And I will, for example, work on the Microsoft 365 Outlook. So I will be sending the invoice by email, and it will recognize the invoice and the attachment. It will extract it. And then what happens is basically everything done by Microsoft. So I don't have to do more than just selecting what I want. And the workflow will be automatically created for me. I can modify it. I can delete the things that I don't need, but all the actions and everything is already populated. I create the workflow. So as you can see here, the workflow is gonna run when a new email arrives. This is attached to my connection. So basically when a new email arrives in my account and my email, okay? If you do have, for example, a shared mailbox and every invoice that comes or arrives to that shared mailbox, in the previous step, you see the 365 and it was a different option for shared mailbox. You can do that as long as the person that is creating the workflow has access or is member to that shared mailbox. Otherwise, the action will not work. And here in the advanced, you can see here only it will read the ones with attachment and only when the subject is AI builder. I will change this for AI invoice. So when the word in the subject is AI invoice is when this workflow is gonna run, because I don't wanna run this workflow for every email that I get, only for the invoices. So that's why we add another security. If you leave it empty, it will run anyways, but it will run every time you get a new email, and we don't want that. So everything that is in here is just like the welcome that they add, you can remove it. All this like emails, things that you can remove it as well. But right now, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna show you that everything is done. Like extract information from form is already connected to the AI model that we create. Is getting the attachment, and then is what it's doing with the attachment is just sending me an email with the information, right? So if I test it, if I save here, okay, if I test it, I will send myself an email with one of the invoices. Let me open my Outlook. In the meantime, this is only gonna work if I get the email. But what happened if I also wanna save? I'm gonna get the email, yes, sure. But if I also want to save this to SharePoint, let's say I wanna receive an invoice, I wanna get the email, but I also wanna save or store those invoices somewhere. So what you can do, and I think for the timing, I'm just gonna show you that, for example, I create a document library here with the same structure. So basically, I create a column for customer ID, the total amount, the due date, and the customer. So I create the columns in SharePoint. And then I can add, where is my workflow here? I can add an action, right? To say, create file. Create file. And then here, I can say, okay, I will create the file in my SharePoint site. So I have to give them. Oh, sharing, sorry, I clicked the. I have the ribbon here, right where I want to click. Okay, so I will
Your
go
screen
and
isn't
find
showing
my
now.
site address. Oh, I'm not.
It's gone black.
Okay. Okay, 1 second. Let me know if I'm sharing now.
There it
Am
is.
I sharing?
Yep, we
Okay.
can see it now.
Okay. Okay, so create file, and it's gonna ask me for where do you want to create the file, of course. And on my drop down, it's gonna show all the sites that are normally in. If I cannot see it here, let's say I'm not seeing my site here, I'm gonna call the enter custom value, and because I copy, and I'm gonna paste it. Paste it. And then the folder path will be my library. And process custom document, that's my library. The file name will be the attachment name, right? Attachment name. And the file content will be the attachment content. So I will have the same document name with the content and the invoice. And when I run it, now at my Outlook here, I'm gonna send one invoice email. Subject, it has to be AI invoice, if I'm not wrong. And then hello, blah, blah, blah. I just care about I do have one here. I'm gonna attach one of each. One contoso, one of the other one. I have both. If I made everything right, I'm gonna open here also my email. Gonna take a few seconds, of course, to run. But if I didn't make any mistakes, I will get the email, and I will also get the document if it's not the same one that I uploaded here. So I got the email. This is the email that I sent myself. It's not the one that Power Automate is running, because I got the invoices. this sharing thing is, can I move it next to? Yeah, I got it now. So you can see I got 2 emails, one for each attachment. If you add 10 invoices, you're gonna have 10 emails, of course, because it runs for each attachment. So I got the congratulations for Contoso, the other one, but also if I refresh here, I should have the other 2. So you can see here, and not just run and add the documents. I have also the metadata associated to it. Why I do have the metadata if I didn't update the properties is because I have the other workflow running. But basically, I'm missing one more step. That is, I'm creating the file, but I'm not updating the metadata because the metadata is not there yet. So I have to add one more action called update file properties. And then same thing. Name. I'm updating the process customer. The ID is the ID of the creation. And then I do have invoice number, customer ID, total amount, due date, and customer because I create those columns. And then I have to just find invoice number here. I type invoice. Now I have from the extraction here, I have all the information. So I need to find invoice number value. Everything is the name of the column plus value is the information that you want. And then customer ID and go and so on. And for the purpose of the time, I'm just not gonna do all the things, but basically it's just this last step is just to update the metadata in here. So basically when you get a new invoice, you don't have to open your email, check the invoice, and then add it in here and type all the metadata. You can run approvals, as I say. You can run or you can create different libraries for customers and save those invoices in different libraries, or you can create a view for each. So a lot of things that you can do after once you have the information that you need. And you can see it's accurate. So if I open this one, customer ID is the same. I already checked, so I have the document and I have the information in as a metadata, so I don't need to open it because I will have everything to play around here. What I'm gonna do next, because I think I do have time, is to show you a different kind of document. So Tamara sent me this. This form. In the meantime, Tamara, if you want to explain what is this about, but basically,
Yeah, the
I
field
will do the
level
same.
hazard assessment is a pretty standard form in most industries for your safety team, especially if you're in an organization that builds something or has people working on site. So field level hazard assessments are typically carried out on a daily basis for different project sites to ensure the safety of all your people, and they assess whether or not safety rules are in place. And it can be pretty tedious to go on site and fill out the form and then have to go somewhere else and enter the form detail.
As you can see, the form has a lot of like checkboxes to check and if it's true or not. And then I do have a couple of information that I can extract, like company name, the date, and this will be also an structured document because the information will be always in the same spot. So I can just go and train a model to extract. I'm not going to extract every single checkbox because it's a lot and we're not going to have time, but I will show you a couple. I'm just going to create like 3 or 4 checkboxes and then customer name and date, and you will see I will train the model the same way as I did with the other one. So let me go ahead and go to document processing again. I will try to be faster. because now you know I have to repeat the same thing, but in the meantime, it's loading. I also want to show you here that I create a library. Okay, I create a library where I'm gonna do the same thing. In this case, the workflow is gonna run through SharePoint. So I want to show you, and I will show you in a bit, that I will add documents in here, not email. I will add documents in here, and that will be my trigger for the AI to run the document and go through it and populate the information that I'm gonna train them. So I did create company name, date, and checkboxes. As you can see, I create edit. Let me edit physical housekeeping. So if I go to the physical is the category. So I call it physical. And then for the first checkbox is housekeeping. So I'm creating checkboxes. So you have to create every single column if you want to keep that data right for each one of the checkboxes. In this case, I'm just going to, as I mentioned, create like 3 or 4. So for physical, that is category, housekeeping, or you can just add housekeeping, but this is a checkbox. So I'm going to create this as a type yes or no. By default, no. Same for the other ones. Okay. And I think I'm ready here to train. Structure. Next. I'm going to create my collection. So I have to add the same information that I show you that is in SharePoint. So I'm going to extract the custom company name. I'm going to extract the date. I know I'm going too fast right now, but I'm doing pretty much the same as the other. But in this case, this is a checkbox. So instead of text or number, the only difference, like, okay, I'm going to be using checkbox. Please, checkbox. I create the first one. I'm copying and paste. I have it here in I'm kind of cheating a little bit because the time. Copy and paste the ones that I create, the same ones that I have in SharePoint. And in this case, in a real case, you will have to create every single one if you want to extract every single information that you want in the form. But right now, we don't have the time to create the whole structure of this. So, okay, those two. 1, 2, 3, 4 checkboxes and company name, date, and date. So click next. As you already know, I have to create a collection. I will call it collection form. Then you can name the connection name that you prefer. I will add 5 documents. As I say, it has to be at least 5. Okay. I'm gonna remember to change the name of the processing form. Name, and I'm gonna click next. And now it's time to tag the create with the form. Yeah, I think this form is a little bit bigger and heavy, so it's taking a little bit longer, but have to be patient if you work with this kind of tools. Okay, company name. Let's find company name. I have company name here. A little bit up. Okay, company name, date. And now I have the checkboxes. So the housekeeping is the checkbox only. So I have to select the checkbox because that's the user what is going to select in there. Powerless overhead is in here. And then this one. And I'm not even doing it in order. Lighting. This one. Okay, remember just select the checkboxes, not the whole thing, because this is where the user is going to be selecting in the form. Okay, next one. This is going to be a little bit quicker. Company name. If you do have questions, yeah, just feel free to stop me at any time. Date. Let's lighting. Make sure the one you are training, you are tagging the right one, otherwise everything can be wrong. And there is a lot of information here that you can use. If you want to extract the whole form, you can actually do it, but it will take time to do it. Take powerless lighting and this one. Okay, next one. Two more. As I say, it doesn't matter the order, as long as I'm tagging the right option. If I made a mistake, let me know. So I'm trying to do everything fast here. Company name and date. Okay, last one. Okay, and company name and date. Okay, we finish. We have to do the same as the other, is click train. I already changed the name, so I don't have to edit. And I will go to the model. Okay, it is training. If you are creating this, you're gonna be the owner, but you can also share it with other coworkers if you wanna share the like the ownership. It doesn't. It's like you work the same way as sharing a Power Automate or Power Up with a different owner. They will have options to edit. Drink a little bit of water. Okay, let's wait. And the next step will be just the creation of the workflow. And in this time will be from SharePoint. So it will be a little bit different, but it's the same thing. You train the model, and then what you're gonna do with the data is defined by you, right? In this case, I do wanna run it through SharePoint and then tag the metadata, and then you can continue with the workflow, as I mentioned in the previous step, adding approvals or send a notification when that happened. If the risk is high, the person that is getting the notification is I don't know, your manager or is the CEO. If the risk is low, you don't even need a notification. That kind of stuff is all included in the Power Automate part. Nothing to do it with the model itself. So now it's trained. Remember, once it's trained, you have to click publish, otherwise you won't be able to use it. So make sure to do that. And I got an excellent, so the accuracy is good. Actually, 99 is good. So it means the form is clear. Use the model, build an automation. And this time I'm gonna run it through a document library that is in SharePoint. So I can click this one. It is the same thing. It's gonna use my connections for every single step that I have in the workflow. So make sure also, it's a good tip. It's not about AI here, but if you are creating a lot of workflows and you are the owner, probably using your account is not the best practice. You should create a service account, because what happens if you leave the company, all the workflows are just gonna stop working because they're gonna disable your account. So we don't want that. Normally, if you are like owner of a lot of things that the company is basically using, not just you, do that with the service account so that you can log in with the service account, and you can switch the connections for every single action to that service account. Even you can own it, but the actions are going to run through the service account. Okay, same thing. There's a lot of things that I don't need here. I will remove, but for the purpose of the time here, I'm just gonna leave everything that is in here. But as I mentioned, I want to add the update metadata thing, right? Because they have to be in SharePoint, so I know I don't need to add it in SharePoint. If it succeeds, I want to update file, same one as before, properties. Okay, and I will show you something that probably is a tip for this one. Let me copy the link. Where is? I know you cannot see my screen, but I have the ribbon here where I'm sharing the screen. Okay, enter custom value. The library, it's called one. I'm using the same library just for the purpose of the training, but normally I will create a library from scratch and then add the columns, but I'm pretty sure you already know how to do that. If you don't know, yeah, we can contact us and we can help you with that. But creating libraries in the columns probably was in different sessions before. So it's gonna ask me for the ID. And even if it's running from SharePoint, the site address and everything, why it's not associated to it. I have to do it. Okay, and the folder ID is my same library. Okay, I connected now, but in here, for some reason, you can see if I search for ID, I don't have it. I don't have it because when a file is created in a folder, the action probably will not bring you the metadata associated to it. So there is a little bit more things to do to it. I don't want to confuse you, but I will do one more step that is because I do want to show you how to do this. Okay. So basically, because I don't have the ID, I cannot connect the update file properties because I need the ID. Which properties, which document I'm updating here? I don't have the ID. So I need to get the ID. I will add one more step to get that ID. So I will get the file metadata, because the metadata is with everything that is in here. Get file metadata using path, because I do have the path. I will connect the site. Okay, the path will be the library. Okay, so the path is basically it's gonna go and find the document for the name. I don't want to write this manual, so I'm just gonna say whatever the name is. Why it's not removing, but the file name that we already have. File name. Where is the name? I think it's this one. Okay, I'm gonna replace. And I hope everybody is understanding what I'm doing, but basically, because I don't have the ID, I don't have the metadata, even with the trigger, I'm getting the metadata. And I'm using the path because I already know which document I'm extracting the information to. So adding this, and now, because I do have the metadata, I can use it. So the item ID. Now I have the ID, and now I can update the company name. So if I search for company name value, date, value, and the checkboxes are yes or no. But by default, remember I set up to no, but I don't want the default. I want the custom value. So for the house in value. Same for the other checkboxes. What I'm gonna do now is to show you the other one, because now I have to work with the same thing. So I don't wanna run it twice. I will show you the same thing. It is the same, but I already have it created, so that's why I'm just. If I complete it and save it, I have to work for doing the same thing. I can just disable one, but I just want to show you that this is the only thing I did. You can remove things that you don't need, like sending an email. Let's say you don't want the email or don't want other things that you have in here. You can just remove it as long as you understand what you are removing and it's not affecting the workflow. The update properties, IMID, and I'm updating the same. Okay, now it means if I add a new document, I have 1 and 2, I will add 3 and 4. Oops, I open it. 4. So the workflow should run. And close this one because the model is already trained. The Power Automate now, if I want to make edits on the Power Automate, I don't need to come here to the AI model. I need to go to my flows now because I already saved it. It is running, but should not take longer. So now 3 and 4 here. And now, well, it's running, so it's updating the metadata. I got the email. By default, Microsoft defined this as an email, but you can remove it. Like, actually, I don't need it. But now you can see not yet. They're still running. So if I want to check, for example, the previous one, in the meantime, that one is running. The only checkbox that it was checked on this one, it was the housekeeping. And if I open it, so I do have this one, right? Remember, and it's clean, so no. I have lighting, is no. And I have, which one was the other one? This one, that is no. So the ones that I create, the only one that is checked is that one. So it's accurate. You can check that. Of course, don't trust 100% of what the model did. Normally, it has some, it happened before where, for example, the date was not found, or if it's handwriting, for example, it's hard for the model to find it or to understand it. So I don't know, maybe it's taking forever. Oh no, it's here. Maybe I add the step in a. Ah, I think I know what happened. I have two workflows running, and one and the other is not complete. So information that I was posting before. I can disable one and try it again. But basically, yeah. Remember the new one that I create, I didn't finish it. So the tagging was empty and the other wasn't not. So probably it was cleaning what I was trying to accomplish here. I can fix it, or I can just remove one or disable one, whatever is faster. I think is I can just disable the new one. I don't know. I don't know how much time do I have, Tamara, to show
You've got
us?
about 15 minutes more.
Okay. Yeah, for questions, right? So I just want to.
We'll have an extra 15 at the end for Johnny for questions.
Okay. All good. Is someone asking something right now, or they're still a little bit shy?
No, nobody has asked any questions.
Okay. Customer ID. Customer ID value. I'm gonna tag total amount. Total amount value. Due date. And customer. Remember, always it has to be the value. Otherwise, you are tagging something else, because also is bringing a lot of information like the accuracy and the text and everything. So you have to make sure that you're tagging the value. Okay. I save it. Let me disable this one too. And both are disabled. And the one that is working is the old one. But it's, as I show you, it is the same thing. But let me just recheck, because we do have time. If you didn't work with Power Automate before, or probably you are learning something today, but I'm guessing that this training, it was about Power Automate. So maybe you're familiar with what I just did. The update files, if you work a lot with SharePoint, like create file, update file properties is a lot. I use it a lot. And create item for list and update item metadata as well. And also the actions for emails and that kind of stuff. So probably you are familiar with this part of the workflow. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rerun. If I wanna see, also, if I wanna check what is going on when the workflow run, I can just go here. For example, the last run of this one was today at 10:58, so a few minutes ago. And you can see for this part, I got the file metadata. That was the sample 4. And then what I do here is extract information. So it will come in an output here. So every single information that it was extracted, you have it here. A little bit confused, but everything is in here. And then I am updating the properties. You can see the checkbox is no, 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 and one yes. So and if I want to resubmit, because the other workflow cleaned my updates, that's why. So if I resubmit the number 4, just to test it again. Okay, now I have it. So for the number 4, you can see here, it was modified a few seconds ago because the workflow did it. I got the company name, I got the date, and as you remember, the only check on this one was the lightning. And if I open it, I don't know if you can see it, maybe it's too small. Here, that was clean. This was clean. Lighting was on, and this one clean. So all good. The information is accurate. So this is how you train a model for structured documents. And a structured document can be, as I mentioned, like a rental agreement or something. But as long as the information that you're extracting is always in the document, but in different positions in the template, you can run unstructured. It's less accurate sometimes depending on what do you have. The more accuracy is when I train, for example, something that is with a structure. But the word or the things that you can do after training the model, it can be, as I mentioned, I just did Power Up, but you can also run a Power Automate with it. If I use the same model, for example, let me go find the model. Just gonna give you a quick preview of the options that I have here. Document, no, where's the invoice? The invoice, this is the one we create. Let's use it. And you can see we use the build intelligent automation before, but you also have the build intelligent app. Basically, that will create an app for you where you, instead of sending the invoices through an email, you can attach it to the app and it will recognize the fields that you train to extract, right? It will take a couple seconds to create the app, but if I am faster, I can show the one that it was created before. Let's see which one is faster. But basically, right now it's loading. It's just gonna create one screen app. I don't know. I don't have Power Automate on this, but sorry, Power App. I don't know which one will be faster, but now as creating the app. In the meantime, I'm trying to open the one that I created before. Both are loading. I'm pushing too much my computer. Here. Invoices. So if I open this one, as I mentioned, it's going to be one screen app where instead of adding the email, you can attach the invoice and then it will scan the invoice and it will extract the information, the customer name, the total, the due date, everything in the app. And you can, like, I train it here, so that will be added. The only thing that I add extra is to show the information that I want to extract. So I create if you're familiar with Power Up, I create label, 2 labels, and each of label is calling the form processor field. In this case, I want the invoice number. And the second one is the same thing, but I want the total amount. So when I play it and I add an invoice, now I have the invoice number and I have the total amount in the app. So you can keep, of course, there's nothing you can do with this other than just checking the information, but you can add more screens and then you can build your app from an AI model that you already trained. So this is all the things that I want to show. And now we're going to be answering questions. I know it's a lot to learn. With only showing one part of the AI, that is the processing, but there is a lot of more things that you can do with AI Builder. We didn't have the time to show all of them. That's why we only focus on one. And if you are interested in some more of the other options that are already there, and maybe we can have a different session for the other ones. Over to you, Tamara. I don't know, all questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jessica. And thank you everybody for being here today. Before I hand this over to John, I see that there is something in the chat. Quick question, will the report be shared somewhere afterward? Yes, the recording will be shared afterwards. So I'll hand that over to you, John, and you can kind of wrap us up.
Excellent. Thanks everyone again for joining. And thanks, Jessica. That was great. As I said, my role again, the director of sales here, but what I wanted to do is everyone who attended today, I'm quite excited to share with you kind of our free consult. So if you want to dig a little bit deeper, I know there's quite a bit to unpack from what we went through. We're happy to kind of jump on a call or even meet face to face, depending where you're located, and kind of go through this a bit more detail. Or if you have, a different business process you want us to take a look at from custom dev or M365, where, want to provide that kind of exclusive 1-hour consult with our experts here at Spot Solutions. So I will be following up with you. I know that we did have a question about the recording. I will follow up with everyone so you have access to that, and also you have access to that hour free consult. So again, thanks for your time, and I'll pass it back to our team.
So thanks. We have a couple minutes before we need to drop off. If anybody wants to ask a question, they can, but it looks like everybody's happy to get sort of 15 minutes of their life back. So we'll do that. And again, John will be reaching out to you, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any other questions or if you'd like to do a deeper dive into this topic. Future sessions will include additional AI webinars that will focus on different aspects of AI, and will kind of build on what we've talked about here. So keep a lookout to see what the next webinar is in our series. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.